Last one for matrices, and then we'll move on to logarithms. On this one, we're just going to evaluate the determinant. There is a mechanic for this. If you missed those determinant videos, I highly suggest you go back and take a look at those, figure out what's going on there. But it's really simple. What we're going to do is if we start in the top corner and we go from left to right, we're going to add those because that would be normal reading. But if we start in the right corner and go from right to left, that would be going backwards, and we're going to subtract those. So that's really the mechanic. I'm going to take number 5 and number 2. I'm going to multiply them together, 5 times 2, and that would be a positive thing because I'm headed this way. Then I'm going to take the 5 and the negative 2, and I'm going backwards now. So I'm going to grab that 5 and negative 2, and I'm going to multiply them. 5 times negative 2 is a negative 10, but I'm going to subtract those. So everything going backwards, we subtract, and going forwards, we add. And I meant to write the actual numbers, not the negative 10. So 5 times negative 2, we do the math on that, and we have 10 minus a negative 10. Whenever you're subtracting, you're really adding, and that gives us a positive 20. So 10 minus negative 10 is the same as 10 plus 10, which is 20. We take a look at the next one. We're going to grab negative 5 times 1, right? We do it on the diagonal. Then we're going to do negative 2 times a positive 2. So we're going to subtract negative 2 times a negative 2. My bad. I think I said it was positive, but it's negative 2 times negative 2. And then we're going to do this math. Negative 5 and 1 is a negative 5, minus negative 2 and negative 2 is a negative 4, or it's positive 4, but we're going to do negative 5 minus 4 gives us a negative 9. All right, we just do this little cross multiply thing here. Negative 5 times 1 is positive, like I'm adding it. I'm not subtracting it, but negative 2 times negative 2, we're going to subtract because we're headed backwards. And that's going to make a lot more sense on this one. I'll make number 11 a little bit bigger. Let's grab it, take it to the next page. Okay, the mechanic for this one, the first thing that you're going to do is rewrite the first 2 rows. And I'm just trying to clear out my phone. There we go. So the first one, when we do a 3 by 3, the first thing you have to do is grab the first 2 rows and rewrite them. Negative 3, 0, and a negative 4. We take the second row, rewrite it. We have a 0, a 4, and a 5. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the diagonals again. So when we multiply the negative 3, the 4, and the negative 3 together, we would add that number. So this will be a negative 12 times a negative 3 is a positive 36. So that first number will be a 36. Then I'm going to grab all this fun. Now, this is real simple because there's a 0 in it. So the whole thing goes to 0 super fast. So plus 0. And unfortunately, the next one has a 0 in it as well. So that happens really quickly. It's just going to be another plus 0. But if I multiplied them and it gave me a number, I would just put that number in there, whatever it was. Now we're going to turn around and head backwards. Once again, we got a bunch of zeros in mind. This is kind of a bad practice problem. We'll do another one. This is going to be a big fat 0, but I'm going to subtract this 0 because I'm going backwards. On this one, I get to multiply these numbers together. And once again, because I am headed backwards, we are going to subtract them. So a negative 3 and a negative 5 is a positive 15. 15 times 5 is going to be 50 plus 25, which is 75. So we're going to subtract 75 since we're headed backwards. Let's go ahead and multiply these together. Negative 1 and 4 is a negative 4. Negative and a negative is going to be a positive 16. But because we're headed backwards, we are going to subtract that positive 16. At this point in time, we just add these numbers together. We have a 36 minus 75 minus 16. When we subtract that, we're going to get 36 minus 85 plus 6 is 91. And when we subtract that, we're going to end up with a negative 60. Oh, a negative 55. How about them apples? Go team. Let's check and see if we did that one right. If we scroll down, we did get number 20 for number 9. We did get a negative 9. And check it out, negative 55. Let's do number 12. Apparently, when we do number 12, we're going to get a negative 16. Let's find out. All right, so number 12. way down here at the bottom. Let's grab that. We'll take it to another page. No zeros in this one, so this will be a little bit more work. Let's go ahead and try this one out. See what we get. Apparently, it's supposed to be a -16. I'm going to write that up here in the corner just to make sure that we get that correct. All right, let's see what we're supposed to do. First of all, let's go ahead and rewrite these. So we've got a -3, a -2, and a -5, and a 1, 1, and a 3. All right, I'm going to multiply this diagonal together first. -3 and -3 is a +9. I'm going to multiply this diagonal next. A -4 and a -5 is a +20. And I'll multiply this diagonal next. This is going to be 3 and 3 is 9 times a -2 is a -18. So I'm going to add a -18. And then we'll have a little bit more fun. Let my smartboard catch up. There we go. Let's scoot that down just a bit. And let's do the next one. So now I'm going to go backwards. We're going to start up here in this corner. And we're going to multiply these together. But when we do, we're going to subtract those numbers. A -3 and a -2 is a +6 times 1 is just 6. So we're going to subtract a +6 because we're headed backwards. -3 and -4 is a +12. 12 times 3 is going to be a 36 again, but we're going to subtract that 36. And in the last one, we've got a 3 times 1 times -5, which gives us a -15, and we're going to subtract that -15. And now we just combine like terms, that kind of stuff. So 9 and 20 is 29. And when you subtract the negative, you're really adding a positive. So 29 plus 15 is going to be 44. So we got all our positive numbers out the way. -18, -6 is going to be a 24 with a -36 tied to it is going to be 40, 50, I think. 60. Let's run with 60 plus -60. All right, so 44 plus -60 is going to give us a -16. Booyah. It's exactly what we were looking for. All right, so that's how determinants work. Make sure you take your time. There is a bit of math involved in that, so you got a couple opportunities to screw that up. But you're at home and you're using your calculator, so take your time and do the math correctly. If you want to double check your fund before you type it in, great. And you would just type in -16 as an answer. We're going to come back. We're going to work on matrices, or I'm sorry, logarithms in the next video. And that'll be it for 2021. I am going to post some remediation assignments if you're missing any quizzes, things like that. Make sure you talk with me this week. Next week, I won't be as available, if at all. So you can still email me, but I can't guarantee that I'll be around. I am going to be wrestling, hanging out with my kids, and, Christmas. So make sure you get that fund down. When we come back in January, you'll want all these things to be finished. Guys, have a good one. Talk to you soon.